So we can actually Bird Keeper for the kill. So we had a good game. We had good odds. Really good odds. Because they don't have Frostmoth. Both their Snoms just got knocked out. And they have no Snoms in play. Weezing just in case. Oh, they have a aromatic energy. Darn it. Dang it. They have an aromatic energy, no special conditions. And it's not an ability, it's a special energy effect. So neutralizing gas doesn't block everything. And if they have a wash energy, severe poison doesn't work as well. So Weezing is dead. We have no Nanus, no Flapples. That thing is gonna be able to resist a Sableye V unless we draw a Nanu and a Flapple the next turn. So no Nanu, no Flapple. Aromatic energy screwed us. We better be drawing a Nanu and a Flapple. Come on, Nanu, Flapple. Yes. Perfect. Okay, let's Nanu first. Flapple and Nanu. Let's put that one. Crazy Claws for the knockout. Alright. Not bad to start with, but they have a voltage beat, and Sableye is weak towards Leaf type. Hello everybody, welcome back to Bearware the Terrible. So today we have a new deck again in the standard format for you because we love being competitive, called the Unnerving Gas. So in Unnerving Gas, we have our Galarian Weezing from Rebel Clash with the Neutralizing Gas ability, allowing you to nullify all of the abilities of all of your opponent's Pokemon in play. So if they have all of their Pokemons in play, meaning if they put a Dedenne GX as well, it gets disabled. They don't get to use any of their abilities as long as Galarian Weezing stays in the active spot. So they can still use Boss Order to switch out your Pokemon and make sure that Galarian Weezing's neutralizing gas gets does not get activated, so they can still deactivate your ability, allowing them to continue using their abilities. So it is not perfect, but it is still a pretty powerful card we get to use because its ability, if we get to disable all of our opponent's abilities, then they don't get to use Charizard Battle Sense, they don't get to use Charizard Continuous Blaze Ball ability. I don't remember the ability, but that ability allows them to put 2 damage counter on their Charizard and attach 2 energy from their deck, 2 fire energy from their deck into that Charizard. So if they are playing any Charizard decks, if they are playing any Dedenne GXs, in DDV even, a lot of Pokemon abilities, if they are relying on those abilities to charge up their Pokemon, to sabotage us, to do a lot of things, place damage counters on us, then their abilities are basically disabled. So we are trying to destroy any decks that rely on abilities with this deck, but it is also important to mention the other cards in this deck because they are pretty important as well. So the reason it's called Unnerving Gas is because we are featuring this deck off of the Unnerve ability and the Neutralizing Gas ability. So Unnerve allows you to protect this Axew Pokemon from any effects of supporter cards and item cards that your opponent play from their hand. So if they play Crushing Hammer, if they play Boss Order, if they play Pokemon Catcher, they can't do anything to Axew, but they can still knock it out. They can still use Pokemon's effects or abilities to discard your energy. They can still do other stuff with their attacks. So if they try to attack it while it is in the bench spot, Axew can still get knocked out that way. But if they try to Boss Order or Crushing Hammer you, it doesn't work. So Axew has low HP as well. It's only 60 HP, so it gets knocked out pretty easily, but we are trying to charge it up for a Nanu to switch it out for a Sableye V. So that is how we are trying to get out our Sableye V. We're trying to do a switcheroo. We're trying to attach energy to our Axew so that it doesn't get discarded with crushing hammers, so that it doesn't get boss ordered and get knocked out that way. Because we don't have Mews in this deck, it might be better to have Mews in this deck to protect your Axew, because if you have a Mew, then that is a foolproof way of protecting your Axew from getting knocked out. But I don't want a Mew because I don't have space for Mew, because I need the space for other cards. So Flapple is pretty important in this deck because we are playing Sableye V. So Sableye V allows you to do 60 extra damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon, or any Pokemon that you wish that you choose to attack with Crazy Claws, or that you choose to drag into the active spot. So if you use Flapple to put damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, you only need to use 2 Flapples to place 4 damage counters on them to be able to do a tag team knockout. To do a V knockout, obviously you need more. A VMax knockout, obviously you need more, but we are trying to place damage counters with either Flapple or our Galarian Weezing's Severe Poison. So Severe Poison does a lot. It does 4 damage counters if they pass the turn, if they choose to pass the turn without switching their Pokemons or without doing anything, without healing, then it does 8 damage counters. So 8 damage counters, you can already knock out a VMax with your Crazy Claws. If they heal though, which is very likely, because if once they see a Sableye V in your discard pile even, they're gonna prepare for that Crazy Claw, they're gonna heal their Pokemon, they're gonna heal all damage counters and make sure all of their Pokemon are full HP to make sure Crazy Claws do nothing to them. So that is important to watch out for. That is why Flapple is so important in this deck, because Severe Poison, if you damage them with Severe Poison, if you poison them, then those damage counters are gonna go away in within a turn. They're not gonna let those damage counters stay there for long, because they know you're playing a Sableye V deck. So it's way too risky to be playing only a Galarian Weezing. That is why we have to add either Galarian Zigzagoon or Flapple for a Sableye V deck. So Sableye V Unnerve ability is the way we are trying to charge up our Sableye V, because when you play a Sableye V deck, your opponent can play Crushing Hammers and it's too dark energy. So you're gonna have to think about how to charge your Sableye V, either with a Turbo Patch, a BD, or in this case we are using an Unnerve and Nanu to reverse attach our energies to our Sableye V. And we have also Bird Keepers and switches in this deck, because Galarian Weezing is a heavy retreat cost Pokemon. And we also have we can also retreat with our Flapple. If we have an Applin place in the active spot, then we can evolve it into Flapple and then shuffle it back into the deck by using its Apple Drop ability, and then switch out to a new active Pokemon. So that is essentially a free retreat. So if Applin gets placed in the active spot, or if on our turn something gets knocked out, we get to place Applin in the active spot just to anticipate a free switch, just in case we need something on the bench or something. We probably don't have a BD. We don't have a BD in this deck, so we don't need to be worried about making sure Sableye V stays in the bench or Unnerve stays in the bench or whatever. But sometimes you never know, situation, duty calls, you might need something in the bench before you switch it out or something. And Bird Keeper also allows you to draw 3 cards, so sometimes it's better to have something you don't need, for example a Dedenne GX as your active, and then Bird Keeper for something else, just to draw those 3 cards, because sometimes we don't need to switch, but we do need to draw cards. So that's the tricky thing about Bird Keeper. Sometimes it shows up at the wrong time, but it allows you to switch though. So it's a free switch card that allows you to draw, which is pretty good, pretty handy. We only have 3 Nanus, we don't want to have too many of them. We have 3 of each Sableye Vs and Unnerve, our Axew cards, and we have 3 of each Applin, Flapple, Galarian Weezing, and Coughing. So I'm not really familiar with the names, sorry about that. Flapple, the name is Flapple. So Applin, Flapple, Coughing, and Galarian Weezing. We have 3 of each of all of our Pokemon cards except Dedenne. Dedenne GX, we have 2 of it, and we have 3 Quick Balls, 2 Pokemon Communication, 3 Evolution Incenses, 4 Sonias, and that's it for our setup cards. We have 1 Energy Spinner, we have 1 Great Catcher, and we have 2 Switches, 2 Bird Keepers, 2 Hapus, 3 Marnies, and 2 Professor's Research. We have 1 Chaotic Swell, just in case they play any Stadium cards, Prism Star Stadium cards. Prism Star Stadium cards are very annoying, especially the Wondrous Labyrinth and the Black Market. We don't want to be reducing our prize card collection count. That is very annoying, and that could cause your opponent to win the game. Although Black Market could give us the advantage as well, because we are playing Dark Pokemons and Dark Energy cards, we are attaching it to our Pokemons as well. But we don't want to be giving them any advantage, because Sableye V has a low HP and they can knock it out pretty easy to collect 1 prize card if they knock it out with the energy attached to it, and if they have a Black Market in play. So even that is an advantage for them, and they can even knock out our non-Dark type Pokemon. So they can even knock out an Axew, Dedenne GX as well. So we don't want that happening. And the reason we have 1 of this funny Coughing, its Psychic type is not the normal Dark type, where you know, the common Galarian Weezing Devolution Coughing is the 70 HP Rebel Clash Coughing, whereas this is the Cosmic Eclipse Coughing. It's nice to have a mix of the evolution basic cards. So sometimes you may have Galarian Weezing paired with the Cosmic Eclipse Coughing. You might, you know, it might be a good idea of having all three of the Cosmic Eclipse Coughing instead of the Rebel Clash Coughing, just because you could trick your opponent into thinking you're playing a Roxy deck. So confusion is paramount when you're playing any decks. You want to be confusing your opponent as much as possible to deceive them into thinking that you're playing some other kind of decks, to make them prepare for those cards that you're not actually playing, so that you could actually reverse hit them and knock out and ambush them and destroy their deck. You know, they could be over preparing. We want them to be over preparing. So it might be a good idea to switch this card for that card, but I don't want to be doing that, because for me, I prefer not to, because 60 HP is actually low, and 70, I know it's easy to hit for a knockout, for a one-hit knockout, but 70 is still more than 60, and 60, it gets knocked out much easier in the first few turns. So I don't want that happening. I prefer to have 2 Coughings with 70 HP in this deck. So it might be better to confuse your opponent, because that could actually give you a huge advantage, but I prefer to have that one. Also, the reason I have that one is actually because I don't have, as you can see, I don't have enough Coughing from Rebel Clash. So I could easily trade for one, but you know, I just prefer the confusion as well. And we have some turbo patches in this deck as well. We only have 2 of it, because we don't really need too much of it, because I don't like coin flips. I really hate coin flips, because they always screw me up, and they could just, you know, crushing hammer you if you play all turbo patch without the Unnerve one. So the main strategy in this deck is the Unnerve Nanu strategy, and also the ability disabilification. I don't know what word that is, but that's the main strategy of this deck. You know, we're adding the Flapple because Sableye V can't do much if you can't place damage counters right off the bat on your turn before you attack with Crazy Claw. Then Sableye V really can't do much. So we can't be relying only on severe poison to be placing damage counters before doing our Crazy Claws, because they are gonna heal. They are gonna know what we are up to. They are gonna heal once they see any Sableye V cards. If they see any Zigzagoons or Flapples even, they are gonna be anticipating a Sableye V. So if they see an Applin even, they're gonna be preparing for that. They're gonna be healing their Pokemons. They're gonna be removing those damage counters as fast as possible. So they're gonna be switching out their Pokemon, making sure you don't, because we don't have Boss's Order even in this deck. We only have 1 Great Catcher. So be careful with that. Applin, it's always better to prepare to take it out as fast as possible. Prepare your bench Applins as much as you can every turn, because Flapple, it gets shuffled back into the deck and you need to be thinking about getting them out back. That is why we have so much setup cards. That is why we have 4 Sonias, 3 Quick Balls, 2 Pokemon Communications, and 3 Evolution Incenses to get back out our Applins and Flapples as fast as we can, turn after turn, to recharge and to boost our Crazy Claw as fast as we can. So that's all for this deck. I don't want to be explaining too much. Today we are featuring anime vibes music from Music Panda. If you want to check out their channel, go ahead, subscribe. They feature good music, and today we are featuring their their Asian music mix. So let's go ahead for a game. Sorry about that, it's a little tricky to press those buttons. So important thing to note about this deck is that you must get out your you must evolve your Weezing and get out that Unnerve card to charge as fast as you can. Then you can think about your Applins, because Applin is basically useless until your Axew is fully charged for a Nanu, and also Nanu takes away your supporter card count, meaning you can't use any other supporter cards after using Nanu. So that is a huge disadvantage for us. But also, but to counter that disadvantage is our advantage of Axew's ability. So we have our Coughing in the active spot. That's really good. That means Weezing is going to be able to block their Frostmoth right off the bat, but they're going to be able to evolve first because they go first. So we can't do anything about that. Darmanitan is probably going to get charged. Their first Darmanitan is probably going to get charged. They're going to have to think about the next one though. I'm going to discard our Sableye first. Okay. I'm just gonna get another Coughing just because I'm anticipating that getting knocked out. It gets knocked out pretty easily. They're probably gonna use Frostmoth and Professor's Research for energies. It's pretty crazy. Like water decks, Frostmoth, I just hate Frostmoth. Just way too fast. Kind of like the fire decks, Welder is crazy as well. At least we get to do that. We get to evolve and save our first Coughing. We don't want to be wasting energy cards though. Flapple, we only have 3 in the deck. We have 10 energy cards in the deck. Might be safe to discard 2. We have Turbo Patch, so I think it's fine. It's a little tricky. I might actually do that because Calm is gonna get me either a Dedenne or another Applin. I think I'll just get a Dedenne. Let's see if we have another Flapple. Okay, good. We have a... oh no, that was the last one. So we only have 1 Flapple in the deck. We might be able to draw one in the prize card. We might not be able to, but we just discarded 1 Flapple, so that's actually bad for us. But we got Sableye V in the discard pile. We got a Nanu. Can't complain. And they just passed the turn knocking out a Snom. What are they gonna do now? They had a bad hand probably, otherwise they would have researched for energy cards, evolved the Frostmoth, Birdkeeper switch, or Air Balloon. I mean, if they use Professor's Research, you can use Birdkeeper, but usually Frostmoth, they have Air Balloon, and a lot of capacious buckets. You get the point. So I'm gonna get energy cards. It's looking really well for us. Don't really need to be doing too much. Just need to worry about our Flapple though, because Flapple is the only way to knock out the Darmanitan. Unless we are trying to poison it. They probably don't have healing cards. They can't use their Fion. Funny thing about Fion is that Galarian Weezing blocks it too, so you can't really use Fion to reactivate your abilities. So I actually thought of that, you know, against a Galarian Weezing, because I had an idea of using Fion to push the Galarian Weezing off of the active spot, essentially deactivating the neutralizing gas ability so that you get to reactivate your Pokemon's ability. But that doesn't work because Whirlpool Suction is an ability, so you can't use it. What am I gonna do now? Let's Nanu. Just because Nanu is a support card, I don't want to be using Nanu later because might need to use Professor's Research later or Bird Keeper. So I'm counting on them not healing. Indeedee V can't heal. All they need, they must have a Pokemon Center Lady or full heal to be able to heal their Darmanitan or some other cards. So we can actually Bird Keeper for the kill. So we had a good game. We had good odds, really good odds, because they don't have Frostmoth. Both their Snoms just got knocked out, and they have no Snoms in play, so no Frostmoth, 2 prize cards left, and everything is fully charged for us. We have our Applins ready to go, we have our Galarian Weezing, we have Sableye V ready to go. If they have Crushing Hammers, we can turbocharge it back. We have Dark Energies left in our deck as well. So it's actually pretty hard to get those 2 prize cards now, because they're gonna switch out for their Darmanitan VMax. Knocking this out will do nothing because it's only 1 prize. So it's gonna be a bit tricky now. Or what are we gonna do? I think I'm gonna Marnie. Alright, let's actually do a Flapple. Let's hope they don't heal that thing. Sonia gets his energy as well. Let's discard the Coughing. Get back our Applin. We might actually, well, there's no point getting 2 Applins actually. I don't want to use Marnie because they're down to 1 card in their hand. Let's get a switch actually. Let's get a switch and Pokemon. Okay, Pokemon. I should have switched for Galarian Weezing. That was silly. Oh, I have another switch. Let's just let's just spam our switches and use our Severe Poison. Just because we can. We have 2 switches. We only have 2 switches in this deck, and we have both the switches in our hand. We drew one with Hapu, of course, but we got 2. Just use 2. Alright, Theon's knocked out. now we get to Pokemon for a Flapple. We can't switch though. Now we can't switch. So let's just Pokemon for a Flapple. Even if they heal, at least they might not be able to heal all 40. They might be able to, but at least we get to strike once more. So now we get to use Quick Ball again, Applin again, and get some energies. We could actually use Energy Spitter for energies, but I don't want to give them the advantage by using a Marnie. I don't want to discard my hand. So we add another 4 with Severe Poison, so they're gonna have to heal 80 damage. That's pretty impossible unless they have a Melolana, which they can't be using because they don't have enough cards to discard from their hand for a 120 heal. But even if they only need to switch actually. If they switch, then we have to waste a few more turns. Alright. Now Nanu would be good actually. Oh, Nanu actually helps us win. Alright, Nanu for a Sableye V, switching Weezing out, and then Crazy Claws for the win. So that's a pretty handy way to switch. Instead of switching Weezing out of the active spot, we switch it into the discard pile. Instead of switching it back to the bench spot, we switch it into the discard pile with our Nanu. So there you have it, our Unnerving Gas first win. Let's go for a second game against Mingboy. Leaf type, possible leaf type. You never know, it could be a deception, the deck box. My deck box is actually a deception because it got stuck at the default, this deck box, the Melmetal Lucario deck box, because I purchased a Melmetal GX deck. Lucario Melmetal Tag Team GX deck is always a mouthful to pronounce a tag team name because it's just way too long. But I purchased that deck and the deck box became the default. So whatever deck that I make, whatever new decks that I built, the default deck box became the Lucario Melmetal deck box. So I didn't have time, I forgot to switch the deck box into a more suitable deck box. Probably should. What are we gonna do? Let's hope we get a switch. Because I don't like... we might actually use a Turbo Patch. I should have used a Turbo Patch actually. Okay, we got a few stuff. Let's get another Applin. What are we gonna do here? Let's get a Dedenne. Switch that for an Applin. We only got one Flapple. Oh, we got two. Sorry about that. What are we gonna get now? Let's discard our Sableye. Right. We haven't have it discarded yet. There we go, a switch. Yay! Alright, I'm gonna switch to my Flapple. Yep, I'm gonna switch to my Applin because it's probably gonna get knocked out. Yeah. Or if it doesn't get knocked out, hopefully we draw Evolution Incense or a Flapple by chance. We have 2 more Incenses and 2 Flapples in the deck. No more Pokecoms. Mice. You're probably gonna play a VMax with the Voltage Beat, so we can actually research for better cards. Let's waste another Sableye V or a Coffee. Let's discard the Sableye V. Let's hope we get a Flapple. Come on, Flapple. Okay, Flapple. We only have 3 Nanus though, so that's something to watch out for. Okay. Let's just prepare a second Weezing just in case. Oh, they have a aromatic energy. Dang it. Dang it. They have an aromatic energy, no special conditions. And it's not an ability, it's a special energy effect. So neutralizing gas doesn't block everything. And if they have a wash energy, severe poison doesn't work as well. So Weezing is dead. We have no Nanus, no Flapples. That thing is gonna be able to resist a Sableye V unless we draw a Nanu and a Flapple the next turn. So no Nanu, no Flapple. Aromatic energy screwed us. We better be drawing a Nanu and a Flapple. Come on, Nanu, Flapple. Yes. Perfect. Okay, let's Nanu first. Flapple and Nanu. Let's put that one. Crazy Claws for the knockout. Alright. Not bad to start with, but they have a Voltage Beat, and Sableye is weak towards Leaf type. So Wood Hammer can't attack yet, but they can evolve into a VMax. I can't remember what the VMax do. Yep, they are not gonna attack yet. 4 energy cost, I think. Yep. Max beating 130. Already enough to knock out all of our Pokemons. Except Dedenne. They need to discard 1 energy card to knock out a Dedenne for 50 extra damage. That can add up to 280 total damage with max beating. So not much actually. They can boss order us now, so that's bad. Let's just try doing that. I'm just a bit uncomfortable putting Sableye V back into the bench because it's susceptible to boss order now. No more Unnerve protection. They could easily Voltage Beat, attach energy retreat, and then boss order knock out our Sableye V. Then we have nothing to attack. We could still poison them and charge up Axew, but that sets it back by 1 or 2 turns. Zarude. That's a good combo. A Zarude Zarude, Voltage Beat, and Rillaboom. So Voltage Beat charges Zarude, and then Zarude charges Rillaboom for the next turn with 2 energies, and then on the next turn charge an extra 2 energy for max beating. So that's a really good combo actually. What are we gonna do? They didn't actually do much. They tried to knock out our Applin, but obviously failed. They don't have an aromatic energy, thank goodness. That means we get to severe poison them. Might actually get... oh, we don't have Axews anymore. No more Axews. Really scared of... I'm just really scared of them knocking out my Sableye, so I'm gonna charge my Dedenne. Ready for the Nanu. But they can very easily heal their Rillaboom, knock out our Sableye V, and that would be bad. Or heal their Rillaboom and knock out our Weezing. That would be even worse, because we will have no other way of adding damage on their Rillaboom except with 2 Flapples, which is really hard to get out by now. By now it's actually easier, but we only have 2 Flapples in the deck, so it's actually hard to get both. Okay, they didn't heal, that's good. So they are actually dead already. 3 price, we knocked out a 3 price card with our Weezing Sableye V combo. We don't need to be doing anything else, 610 is enough. So there you go, we won 2 games with our Sableye V combo deck. Sorry, Sableye V Weezing, Applin, Flapple combo deck. And let's not forget the Axew with the Unnerve ability. That's very super important as well. So that is all for our Unnerving Gas deck, featuring our Sableye V Unnerve ability and Neutralizing Gas ability combo. So Neutralizing Gas prevents your opponent from using any of their Pokemon's ability. Axew protects your Sableye V from, because we are using Nanu to switch Axew for Sableye V later. So it protects Sableye V's energy cards. It protects the energy card from being discarded with Crushing Hammers. It protects it from being knocked out by Boss Order. It's better to have a Mew in this deck because Mew would protect Axew on the bench spot from being hit by any damage, but it does not protect it from damage counters, damage counter placements. And we also are playing Flapples to be able to immediately on our turn place damage counters on our opponent's active Pokemon before dealing with Sableye V Crazy Claws to do extra 240 damage if they have 4 damage counters on their active Pokemon. Sorry, 250 damage because it does have its base damage of 10 with Crazy Claws. And it is also very handy to have Nanus in this deck. With any Sableye V decks, it's better to have Nanus because after attaching energy and after dealing severe poison with your Galarian Weezing, all you need to do is add an extra energy and then use Nanu to switch out Sableye V, to switch Galarian Weezing into Sableye V, and immediately you can hit with your Crazy Claws. You can immediately add 250 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. If they heal their poison, if they haven't healed their damage, then you can do an extra 250 damage. If they didn't heal the poison, then you can add 80 times 6, what is it, about 490 damage to their active Pokemon, effectively knocking out a VMax or a tag team. So Galarian Weezing Nanu is a very good combo, but obviously they can heal, and if we're counting on them not healing, but if they heal, we have a plan B with Flapple's ability to place damage counters on their Pokemon. And we have a lot of cards, as I said just now, to set up our Pokemon and to recall our Flapples, to re-evolve it, because that is the main idea of this deck. And Axew is also a very powerful card to have because Axew protects your Sableye V from being affected by any trainer card. So if they play any trainer cards, it doesn't affect Axew because the effects of all item and supporter cards are nullified. So that actually protects Sableye's energy card placement, and it also protects it from being knocked out by boss order, because as you're charging your Sableye V, they can very easily boss order that Sableye V, knock it out before you do any crazy claw hit. We don't want that to happen. We want to be able to do at least one crazy claw hit before it gets knocked out. So that is why Axew Nanu is so powerful. So that is all for this deck. I don't want to be going on too long about it. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, because we release great content every day, every 2 days. And we are going to be making new decks, more standard decks more often nowadays, because standard decks are more competitive, and we enjoy being more competitive with this game. Obviously, have fun with this game. Don't get caught up with the wins. Don't get caught up with the losses, because this game is very reliant on odds. Sorry about that. They just disconnected me. We are ending here, so it doesn't really matter. So I just want to go briefly about the odds of this game. It really relies on odds, because whether you win a game or not, it relies on the first draw. So if you have a really good draw, if you have an ideal hand to start with, it's very likely that you'll win the game, but it's not set that you'll win the game. It really depends on situations, the little decisions that you make, and how the game goes, how it goes on, like the turn by turn, how things turn out. So it really relies on the first draw. The first draw is actually the biggest factor that determines whether you would win the game or not. So that first draw relies a lot heavily on odds, and you have no control over the odds. Basically, the odds are controlled by the game developers. So you really have no say on that. Sometimes you might meet hackers, but on a good day, if you are smart with things, usually if I get too many losses, I would just log out and log back in, because it doesn't make sense that you have way too much bad odds. Sometimes if you have way too many losses, all you have to do is log out and log back in, or maybe just make some adjustments to your deck. Sometimes it's not the odds, sometimes it is your deck. But most times, if I have a really bad day, if I have way too many losses, all I have to do is just log out, log in, and then the odds gets better, and then I have my mood gets better, then I get to build better decks. Because if you have way too many losses, and if you criticize yourself way too much, then you're not going to be able to have a good mindset. If you have a real bad mindset, you can't build new decks, you can't progress in the game. All you need is enough wins. You don't need a lot of wins. All you need is enough wins to progress in the game, because we want to be top players here. We do want to be the top player, but to be able to do that, we need to climb the ladder slowly. And to climb the ladder slowly, we need to accumulate enough wins. And to do that, we need to be smart with the odds that we are facing. So we can't control the odds, as I said, but we can work our way around it, and we can be smart with it. We can play the game very smartly. So score enough wins to build your confidence, but also don't be so caught up with the wins, because it's not about winning, it's about being more skillful at playing the game and being more original and having more fun with it. The more fun you can have with the game, the more you can progress with it, the more experience you accumulate, and the better you get at it. The more fun, it's about having fun, guys. The more fun you have with something, it's like superpower. It's like you're having a superpower, or psychic power, or super strength, whatever it is. The more fun you have with it, the better you get at it. So that is the secret. The secret of every game. Just have the best fun you can out of the game, and that's all you need to do. That's all you need to worry about. So that's all for this deck. That's all for this video. Join us in the next one and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode. Have a nice day, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye!